Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you for joining us on this Monday in Greater West Bloomfield. Another great week coming up. We'll keep you updated on all the interesting stories happening from across our 4 communities and, of course, all across TV, radio, and around the social media sphere as well. Our top story getting started today, of course, affects your morning commute and your commute home later on, and that's going to be the case for a while here in Greater West Bloomfield and surrounding areas, as the Orchard Lake Road on-ramp at I-696 will be closed in both directions. That's both entrance and exit ramps now through about mid-August as part of a project through MDOT called Restore the Ruther. This is a $275 million project that's already been underway for well over a year. Of course, so far the main way this project has affected our area has been transport between here and other nearby areas on the highway, as eastbound or westbound directions over the last 2 years have been affected one direction and then the other. Now it's the ramps that are going to be undergoing rebuilds across our local area, including this Orchard Lake Road on and off ramp, both on the northbound and on the southbound sides, going eastbound and westbound on I-696. Additional work will also be done across these areas on sewer replacements and some other major infrastructure. That's what Restore the Ruther is all about. It is a major infrastructure overhaul project conducted by MDOT that will affect your commutes. Now, not only will the I-696 ramp at Orchard Lake Road, those ramps be affected, others will undergo similar rebuilds during this time as well, and those are nearby ramps, including at Franklin and the ramps at Telegraph Road. So if those would be your go-to detours on your way into work, you may have to, or on your way home, of course, also, you may have to seek some alternative routes at this time. However, there's plenty of more information. We'll keep you updated on this. We have reached out to MDOT for comment to get even more insight into why these ramps were selected for this part of the Restore the Ruther project, how long we can expect these projects to take place, and ways they may obstruct your commutes to and from work or from other places across our community. In the meantime, you can get a full update on the Restore the Ruther project, get all the insight you need onto how this will affect your commute in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond on drivingoakland.com. That is the place to go, drivingoakland.com. That is where you'll get all the information that you need on this project. Again, a $275 million project that is still underway in our community, going to be affecting that Orchard Lake Road on and off ramp, both on the north and the south side of Orchard Lake, until about mid-August going forward. More positive news close to home. It was a very, very beautiful day and a tasty day in the heart of the lakes, as perhaps the new staple for some tasty treats in the Greater West Bloomfield area kicked off its run on Orchard Lake Road. We sent our reporter Jake Schaff out to learn more.
Keego Harbor just got a little bit sweeter as Matt Neo, owner of Cannelle Bakery, just opened up his 5th location right here in the city. A beautiful little bakery right off the side of Orchard Lake Road, inviting customers in with their amazing decor and delicious baked goods, sure to make everybody with a sweet tooth very, very happy.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the opening, and we love to see people enjoying and having fun, and being at the first opening day at Cannelle. It's beautiful. This is my first location near where I live, and I was so excited, and I was at the same time afraid a little bit, because how it's gonna turn. But the moment I start seeing people coming before opening time, I start having those goosebumps, I'm super excited.
I tried one of your raspberry chocolate croissants earlier today. It was delicious. It was flaky. It was chocolatey. It was everything you'd want it to be. And a lot of the baking here, it's French inspired. Is that correct?
Absolutely, 100% French. Everything we do, it's French. I have a master's degree in pastries from France, so all what I do is French pastries. The chocolate croissant is my favorite, and the pain au chocolat, the crunchy from the dessert part. Yeah.
Well, we knew this area has a lot of people and a lot of demand, and there is no bakery like this. This is an authentic French pastry shop, and there's really none in this area. Cannelle Bakery is pretty famous. They have been named the Midwest Bakery of the Year the last 2 years for the entire Midwest.
What have you thought of the food so far?
Well, it's so delicious, but it's so pretty. Sometimes I look at it like I'm not good enough to eat this, like artwork. But and he takes so much pride in it. Like when he bakes it, he works all night baking. And the temperature and the humidity is within 1 degree to make sure his product is fresh and perfect.
I think it looks absolutely amazing. I feel like the colors are such a spring, summer, fall vibe. It brings a great ambiance to the community. It's absolutely stunning.
I mean, if you're looking for a vibrant place to hang out after work, or even during work if you work from home, the coffee here is amazing. The croissants, the subs, the different pastries. It's a very vibrant place, like she said, very warm, very welcoming, so yeah.
How do you hope to see the business continue to grow and continue to connect with the community in the coming months and years?
So I hope things to be consistent all the time, and we keep growing, and I keep have this place kind of full and steady all the time, having people having their events in here and coming after dinner to have dessert and coffee, and that's what I look for, and continuing doing business in this rhythm. Yeah.
If today's success is anything to go by, I think things are off to a fantastic start for Cannelle right here in Keego Harbor. And with its tasty treats and great hospitality, I think the customers will keep coming back for even more. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate that report from you, Jake, out on site at Cannelle Bakery. They're going to have a great run out there in Keego Harbor on their very first day. It was packed to the brim in there. From the moment Jake got out there until the moment they closed later on Friday, saw so many accounts on social media of people excited to go out to Cannelle. Heck, just after our show on Friday, when we had Jake out there talking to Rawa from the Cannelle team and seeing the sights and sounds, letting you know that they were having their grand opening, we got a call immediately after we got off the air of someone asking if they were really open for business for the first time today, and ended up going out there and enjoying some treats themselves. That is 100% a true story. That we got that call right after the show. We gave them directions, and hopefully they went out there and got that tasty treat and tried that out last week. You can, of course, find even more about Cannelle and get more updates on their new location on Orchard Lake Road in Keego Harbor, just before Commerce, right next door to the Early Bird Cafe. In fact, if you need a landmark, facebook.com/MKCannelle to learn even more about their team. And hey, give a hello from the Civic Center TV team to Matt, Neo, and the entire team out there as you go out to visit and get those treats. I want to give congratulations to many members of the West Bloomfield High School Band Program awarded bringing home some hardware recently. They were recognized based on their outstanding service, academic success, and musicianship. Many of these musicians recognized. You'll see some of them pop up on your screen here in the coming moments for their service to our local band community and more. Among the names, Graylin Connor, a freshman, for his musicianship. Neil Kamath got the Director's Award. We had junior musicianship from Joel Matthew, and even some awards named after some big names, like the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award going to Franklin Ritter. So many of these students on your screen that we've named so far that you're seeing pop up receiving those awards late last week, a testament to the amazing band program we have at West Bloomfield High School. You don't just see them on the football field on Friday nights in the fall. They go out and they compete all throughout the year. They're playing concerts, they're learning complicated music, they're achieving high achievements, and they're playing with some of the best musicians in our local area on top of that, gaining mentorship as well. I want to give a big shout out to Jesse Sachs and the entire band team over at West Bloomfield High School that makes that happen for these kids. And of course, you can always keep up to date on West Bloomfield High School bands and so much more happening across our local schools. Facebook.com/West Bloomfield Schools for all of those updates. We've talked about some really exciting new ventures happening in our community, from a tasty new place to get some treats at the end of your day or on your weekend in Keego Harbor. Now a new place to play one of the most popular rising games in America and around the world. Pickleball will soon call West Bloomfield home in Oakland County, as a new state-of-the-art facility is set to open this week on Orchard Lake Road in the Gateway Center in West Bloomfield Township. It is called Pickle Rage, and they will be opening later on this week. Joining us on the program is Pickle Rage's general manager Jesse Francisco, as they get ready to open their doors and bring pickleball enthusiasts from across Greater West Bloomfield and beyond to West Bloomfield. Jesse, want to welcome you to the show and thank you for coming on to talk about this really brand new facility that's got state-of-the-art courts, amazing location. It's going to be indoors so people can play all throughout the year. What can people expect from this new Pickle Rage location in West Bloomfield?
So yeah, you hit it. It's 30,000 square feet. It has 9 courts. We will have like I said, the 9 courts there. Plus we have a dink court so you can practice beforehand. We'll also have a fully stocked pro shop. Allow you to come and buy some of your merchandise, upgrade your paddles. We'll have some Pickle Rage branded wear for you there. But really, I think the thing that sets us apart is our courts. We started, when we conceptualized Pickle Rage, we started with the courts. It's a Cushion X court. It's actually the courts that they use at the U.S. Open. And we're excited to bring it to the community.
And what about these courts makes it that extra special experience that you may not get at other pickleball courts across our community or across the U.S.?
So we've found, as the sport's grown at such a breakneck pace, you kind of fit it where you can get it, whether that be an old basketball court at a park, a multi-purpose court in a rec center. The tennis courts that are outside that, they split between tennis and pickleball. The Cushion X courts have just a little bit of cushion on them. They're easier on the joints, easier on the hips, the backs. And I think once you get familiar with playing on our surface, you're just not going to want to play anywhere else.
So why West Bloomfield for this new location? Why did Pickle Rage choose to come to our community to make this new hub for pickleball in central Oakland County?
Well, you answered it. It's the community. The large amount of pickleball enthusiasts in this area, when we looked at the stats and looked at some of the data that we spent a lot of time researching, it was kind of mind-blowing. There's just so much, and we're excited to bring our brand and lend ourselves to the community as a place to gather, enjoy the sport, learn the sport, and it also has a lot to do with the facility. This particular unit offered us the proper layout to put the right amount of courts in, because that comes down to it. Just because it's a large building doesn't necessarily mean the layout and the configuration will work. This one was perfect for us, and we're more than excited to be here.
Pickle Rage West Bloomfield General Manager Jesse Francisco is with us on the Splash Live. You can learn more about their newest location opening very soon right here in Greater West Bloomfield on Orchard Lake Road. Visit picklerage.com to learn even more. And Jesse, as you put this business together, as you open this up, it's not as simple as see a court, find a court, go play on it. This is a business that is not only for the experienced pickleball enthusiast, but also for people that are being introduced to the game. So take us through the Pickle Rage experience and why going to your business is the place to be for anybody at any level of pickleball love.
Well, I think that's the important part, is offering something for everyone. When I discuss pickleball with people and local enthusiasts, I mean, you just see them light up, and you see the excitement that just talking about the sport generates. The thing I think I admire the most, or like the most about the sport, is you can be relatively competitive and enjoy yourself and not feel intimidated in a pretty short amount of time. Now, there are some players out there that I don't want to step on the court with, but I think for the normal, social aspect of it, it is just perfect. It combines sport, recreation, and social, and kind of throws it all into one.
So what do you think led to this kind of perfect storm of people of all different athletic backgrounds getting into this? And you mentioned it a little bit there, but what do you think really took this from being something that is of interest to a lot of people to something that's become a passion? Because pickleball players, if you play the game a lot, you love that game.
Seriously. All you have to do is really just talk to someone who plays and they light up. So it's hard not to be passionate about that. Like, you're surrounding yourself with people that just love what they're doing. But again, I think it just gets back to, there's other sports that I play that it takes years to feel like you're competitive. It takes a long time. It's expensive, to get good. And pickleball it is a little simpler. Like I said, you can, whether it's at Pickle Rage or any other facility, or it's just at a park where they have some courts, like you can play anytime, anywhere, provided the availability. And we want to bring that to you. I think one of the aspects that we have, and I'm going to try exceptionally hard at, is to offer something for everyone, whether it's an intro class where we provide the paddles and we just take you through anything and everything you may need to know to start your game, all the way up to some very advanced and pro style tournaments. There will be something for everyone. We're not geared toward one individual playing level, and I think the community will embrace that as well.
Jesse Francisco is with us, General Manager of Pickle Rage West Bloomfield, their newest location opening in the Gateway Center on Orchard Lake Road very soon. Learn more information, picklerage.com, or visit them on Facebook and Instagram, both at Pickle Rage West Bloomfield. Jesse, take us a little bit through what can be expected of people as they enter Pickle Rage in the coming weeks and months to try this out. What's going to be available to them at this location?
So, yeah, we open, we have a VIP reception for those that signed up for our introductory $1 membership, I guess. So that will be on the 18th. But come the 19th through July 31st, through Court Reserve, which is the booking system that we use and many other places use. So a lot of pickleball players will be familiar with that. You are free to book any clinic, any drop-in, round robins. We have plenty of courts available just for reservations, and it's all free. Zero charge to you, because I want to get you. I want to get you in. I want you to see what we're all about, feel these courts, experience the exceptional lighting that we have that mimics, outdoor play, but it also, has you in a climate-controlled area. Where you're not battling the wind, the heat, the rain. I think that's what people will fall in love with. And I want to give you as much time to get in and try that. So like I said, between the July 19th and July 31st, it is free to everyone, members or guests. And then on August 3rd, will be our grand opening or open house, where we invite the community to come out. We have an array of activities, clinics, some fun little skills and drills. We'll have some giveaways. Local restaurant in the area will be provided some catering. But yeah, it's just a meet and greet, and it gives everyone a chance to come out. One exciting thing we have, and it just kind of it just got released yesterday, is we actually have J.W. Johnson, who's the #2 singles player in the world, and his family coming out on July 20th to offer two-hour clinics, and that is available to anyone. Just register through Pickle Rage. And I urge anyone who has some interest in that, please sign up quick. It is a limited availability, and it's going to go fast.
More information, picklerage.com. The opening coming very soon with some free play coming up, a big event, as Jesse mentioned, in August, and so much more to experience as you engage in pickleball, get into the craze, and do it right here in your hometown all throughout the year, whether it's the hot, muggy days of summer or those frigid, cold days in winter. Pickleball is all year round right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Jesse, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Glad to have Jesse on as they get ready to open up their brand new location. Again, that's going to be in the Gateway Center on Orchard Lake Road, just before Northwestern Highway, if you're familiar with the old Steinmart location. They've completely revamped that area of that building to be the hub for pickleball in not only Greater West Bloomfield, but across Oakland County, as they continue to open these new locations to get people out and playing this game that is quite literally sweeping the nation, and is definitely doing so here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. You think about those groups that love to get together and play pickleball already in the city of Sylvan Lake, and they play on their private city pickleball courts all throughout the warmer months of the year. Now they're going to have another place to go to play this game that is only rising in popularity for people of all ages. On the topic of sports rising in popularity, particularly for the kids, flag football has become huge in recent years. A sanctioned high school sport in 11 states, and in October it was named a 2028 sport for the Olympic Games that will be coming up in Los Angeles. Close to home here in Oakland County, some local schools are looking to turn that into a high school sport in the MHSAA, including a group of girls at Groves that recently tried to get a team formally formed at their high school here in our local area. And not only is this game rising in popularity, there are also plenty of opportunities for kids to learn the game, engage in the beautiful game of football, but do so in a way that is safe and is fun, including with local camps right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Joining us are a couple of people that will be leading one of those camps coming up next week, Monday. It kicks off at Drake Sports Park. Steve Allen and his daughter and assistant coach Juliet Allen are with us now on the Splash Live. We thank you both for tuning in as we talk about these rising games, these popular games that are becoming huge in our communities like flag football. What about this game do you believe has made it rise in popularity, not only overall, but of course right here even in Greater West Bloomfield?
I think, honestly, just getting kids out and, getting them out to play, making sure they get exercise, that's like the best part about flag football, having a team atmosphere, having kids cooperate and, finding out about the rules of the game, but also finding out, if they like it or not, and here at Fun Time Sports, we also have basketball. As you can see, we're at the basketball court today. We're about to do a basketball camp later on. We have T-ball. We have other sports programs that kids can get involved in. So if flag football isn't their deal, we can provide other sports for them as well. But flag football itself, I think it's exploded with especially the way that the Lions have come up this year. I think, that's been a big influence in the football world out here in Detroit.
Yeah, it's gaining a lot of popularity, not only in our local area, but across the world. It's going to be an Olympic sport in 4 years when the Olympics come to Los Angeles in 2028. The IOC, the International Olympic Committee, announcing that back in October. So how are we kind of seeing that dynamic around the game of flag football change in our local area in terms of maybe turnout at your camps? I know you got one coming up very soon here in West Bloomfield.
Yeah, actually, we just had a Waterford camp. We had about 25 kids between the ages of 5 to 13 that came out for that camp. So that was exciting because, I mean, the more the merrier. I find when we got a lot of kids out there, we've got a lot of different skill levels. But because we are the type of organization that focuses on the basics first and kids having fun first, I think there's a lot of room for anybody to participate. So we've had kids that never played football before, and then we had kids that were just like John Madden All-Stars. I mean, some of these kids were throwing the ball so good. We played this one drill where it's an accuracy thing where the kids have to hit a target. And I had some 12 and 13-year-olds throwing that ball like probably about 50 meters away and still hitting the targets. So, I mean, it's amazing. It's just a lot of fun.
And this is a game that engages young athletes. I know from my experience playing flag football that it helped me grow a love of the game of flag football, of team sports at a young age. And now particularly what the story has been lately is female athletes really pushing for flag football to be a sport regularly in the MHSAA, not just something that maybe we see in our high schools in the spring or in the fall when they're doing powder puff games coached by the varsity football players. So Juliet Allen is with us too, an assistant coach, and Steve's daughter on today's edition of The Splash with us from Fun Time Sports, who will be holding a camp for flag football at Drake Sports Park later on this month, July 22nd through the 26th. Juliet, from a woman's perspective, from a female athlete's perspective, what about this game do you believe is engaging more girls nowadays than ever before?
Well, honestly, I think that girls can do anything. We've all known this. We've known this forever. But I think that nowadays what's really getting girls involved with flag football is kind of the idea that we don't need to uphold to social norms anymore, or we never really had to. I think that girls can get down and dirty and play some flag football, and they love it. And I see it all the time. And I just love how the girls and the boys can have such a good dynamic together and just have a lot of fun.
One of the reasons I even started Fun Time Sports was because I was coaching Juliet, her sisters, when they were younger. And they used to play co-ed basketball and, they used to play co-ed soccer with all the boys. And, I mean, that's one of the greatest things for me is just watching my daughters get out there and play sports and compete and really, they win. Like, this kid is a really good basketball player. She used to really get out there and score on the boys all the time. So I love seeing girls. One of my girls that actually plays basketball too, but she's a flag football player. I'm going to give a shout out, Izzy Noe out there. She's one of the most awesome athletes I've ever seen. And she is one of the best little quarterbacks I've ever seen. And, I feel like the more the merrier. Anytime that I see kids out there trying and doing their best at sports, just getting out and having fun, that's what it's all about.
And for kids too, and for parents especially, there's a little bit of a fear nowadays, knowing what we know from a medical standpoint about the game of tackle football, the effects it can have. Most of the kids that are going to be playing that game are not going to get a college scholarship, are not going to be playing in the NFL or another professional league down the line. And flag football is significantly safer because of the lesser contact. And so how does that maybe play into the rise of the popularity too, Steve?
I think it definitely plays into it because, it's a non-contact exercise, right? Like, you're not getting, like you said, the impact that you would get from tackle football. So there's definitely less injuries, right? There's definitely less head injuries, which is a big thing, right? We don't want our kids getting concussions and things like that. But also what's amazing about it is getting kids out there and they're not just learning how to play football, right? They're learning how to sprint, right? They're learning how to throw, right? Because, you can translate the throwing in football straight to the throwing in baseball, right? They're learning how to catch, right? That hand-eye coordination that goes into basketball, as well as hockey and other sports like that, right? So just getting them out there and trying a different sport, especially flag football, will allow them to compete in other sports where they can use the same skills that they learned in flag football. So, I mean, I think it's amazing. And I really think having our kids in this community, in the West Bloomfield community, come out and play flag football is going to impact all the other sports, not just football.
Steve Allen is the owner of Fun Time Sports and joins us on The Splash alongside his daughter and Fun Time Sports assistant coach, Juliet Allen. Their upcoming flag football camp at Drake Sports Park kicks off on July 22nd. That's for kids 7 to 10 years old. And Juliet, your dad earlier on talked about the impact of these youth sports camps on your growing love for sports and how flag football played into that. So for parents that may be interested in getting their kid involved in an athletics camp this summer, why should they try flag football coming up in a couple weeks?
Okay, dear parents, I think that you should let your kid do flag football because let them be outside. With all the quarantine and all the COVID that we've been going through the past couple of years, kids need to be outside. They need to interact with others and they need to have that vitamin D. And flag football is such an amazing way to help your kids get their foot into sports without having such casualties and a lot of the injuries, like said earlier before. Flag football is a great introduction to sports, and I think everyone should try it.
One more thing for you, Juliet, and maybe another ode to some other people in our communities here. A spokesperson for the MHSAA, when approached about making flag football a regulated sport in the state of Michigan year in and year out, particularly for female athletes, that they need to gauge the proof of interest from high schools before they make that a sanctioned sport. What's your message to the MHSAA, to our local high schools and athletic departments about why flag football should be something on their regular athletics docket?
I think that from the recognition that the Powder Puff game already gets to all of the girls, I think that is enough. There's so many girls that sign up for Powder Puff, and there's so many people that are involved with the Powder Puff game, like the football team already, or the people that coach it, and the people that help train, and the football coaches that help the girls learn the tactics for flag football. I think that's proof. The proof is in the pudding right there. We should be definitely doing flag football for girls and boys.
Played by over 20 million people across the world, according to the National Football League. Flag football on the rise, an Olympic sport 4 years from today in 2028 in Los Angeles, and will be on the field at Drake Sports Park beginning on July 22nd. Steve, tell us lastly how people can sign up for your flag football camp in West Bloomfield.
You guys can sign up by going to wbparks.org, or you can just call West Bloomfield, ask for Mike. He's an awesome guy. He'll help you out. Or you can go to the Fun Time Sports website at funtimesports.org and then just click on the West Bloomfield tab. That'll take you right over to the registration page.
Look for the red palm tree.
That's right, baby.
More information again on wbparks.org for all of these camps coming up, including that flag football camp beginning July 22nd. Steve, Juliet, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Please come out and play, guys. We want to have a lot of fun. The more the merrier.
Flag football, of course, though, a way that so many players from across our community get their start in this game, whether it's Pee Wee football or it's flag football, sometimes even both, to grow their love of the game, get outdoors, get that physical activity. And the great thing about flag football is it is a co-ed sport that you can start at a young age and play all throughout your life. And it obviously is a lot of fun if people are playing it at such a high rate. Over 200 million kids across the country playing flag football. It's going to be an Olympic sport. It's an exciting time for your kids to get into the game and, of course, get that outside activity during the summer months instead of being on these devices all the time or being bored. A great way for them to get out, engage, socialize, learn a little bit about life and a little bit of activity along with it. Close to home, our commutes, of course, are very much being affected lately by those pesky orange traffic cones out and about. It means we have to take additional detours. We need to plan out our days a little bit further, and we need to be even more vigilant out on the roads in order to keep our streets and roads safe for all in 2024. That is an ongoing effort with the Road Commission for Oakland County, who is getting the community together to talk about how they can make our roads even safer going forward. Joining us now is their senior communications manager, Craig Bryson, on the Splash Live. Craig, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Good to be with you.
Yeah, happy to have you on and to talk about a really important issue because, of course, this time of the year we see all those traffic cones out. We see a lot of road work happening on not only major thoroughfares, but also some of those minor repairs that happen over the warmer months of the year so we can have smooth driving throughout the rest of the year, and particularly in the winter where it's really tough to get those projects done. But that being said, all these different distractions that are there with us, all these different detours, and of course, just keeping an eye out for everybody else makes for sometimes some very dangerous situations. So how is the Road Commission for Oakland County addressing making our roads safer while bringing the people in to make those changes?
Well, first of all, let me preface that by saying this is something we've been committed to for 45 plus years, since 1978, when our then managing director declared that safety would be the number one priority that drives everything we do. So since then, we've been a leader nationally in using crash data to guide project selection, project design, maintenance operations, all that kind of thing. And that's resulted in our roads being among the safest roads in the nation for a community our size and our population. And I think many people don't realize that. But we're taking that to the next level. We got a federal grant last year, the Federal Safe Streets for All process, and we're putting together a safety action plan that will help us identify additional areas where we can do more work. We're looking for public input. One of the ways public can provide input is through a public information meeting we're having on July 29th, Monday, July 29th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's going to be at the Oakland County Executive Office Building, which is 2100 Pontiac Lake Road in Waterford Township, and it'll be in the Executive Conference Room. And we invite people to come in there and let us know any areas of concern that they have with the roads. If they've seen something, have experienced something that they think we should be aware of or look at, we welcome that opportunity.
And it's an interesting time, too, Craig, to be talking about this because of some recent information that's been obtained that's given us better insight on the safety of our roads and the safety, frankly, of us as drivers, too. Bridge, Michigan reporting that data from 2023 shows traffic deaths went down. However, work zone accidents and even some pedestrian incidents either went up or were level from past years. And then we take a look at even some other publications recently. Michigan Auto Law releasing the most dangerous intersections list every year, and 3 of those intersections are right here in the greater West Bloomfield immediate area, including 2 in the top 5. So as we address the Safe Streets and Roads for All program, how do we incorporate the overall danger that comes along with our local roadways because they're so highly trafficked?
Right, and part of we do disagree with the auto law information. They look simply at raw total numbers of crashes. We're more concerned with crash severity and crash rates. If you look simply at total crash numbers, what you're going to find is that the busiest intersections, like Orchard Lake and 14 Mile, have more crashes. That's because they have far more traffic. They will always have more crashes, no matter what. However, what we're looking at is the severity of crashes at intersections, and what you find is intersections like that have extremely few severe crashes. They may have more fender benders than we would like to see, but those are not crashes where people are getting injured or killed. And that's our goal, is to reduce those serious injury crashes. And just recently, we got another confirmation from the state of Michigan that our traffic crash fatality rate in Oakland County is the lowest in Southeast Michigan, probably the lowest in the state, and less than half the statewide traffic fatality rate, well below half of the national rate in the nation. And again, people don't realize that.
Yeah, the data from 2023, Oakland County's traffic fatality rate, which is calculated at deaths per 100 million miles of vehicle travel. In Oakland County, that was 0.46 deaths per 100 million miles of travel. The statewide rate on average 1.15, and nationally 1.35. That data available on rcocweb.org. So Craig, taking all of this into account and then going into these public forums, these public discussions through the Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A program, how will you incorporate both the data and the opinions of the community into this initiative, and then take that into action going forward?
That's a great question. So as part of this process, we've created a Safe Streets committee to study all the information we receive from the public, and do background checks on traffic volumes, traffic crash rates, and look and see how serious the problems are, and then prioritize those locations. Then once we've done that, the next step will be to begin to apply for federal Safe Streets for All grants, so that we begin to implement projects to improve those situations. That's the long-term goal here, is to get some of that federal money so we can make changes to those locations and resolve some of those problems. By the way, there's also another way that people can provide input. They can go to our Safe Streets for All website. That's a separate website from the Road Commission website. There is a map there where they can drop a pin on the map to identify a location and let us know what the issue is at that location. That's an ongoing thing that they can share information with us. That website address is bit.ly, so bit.ly/RCOC-SS4A, which stands for Safe Streets for All. So bit.ly/RCOC-SS4A.
And that's the place you can go for even more information on this project going forward, including their discussions session that will be happening on July 29th coming up. And again, all of this information and more on what you need to know about our local streets and roads and traffic in our community can be found on rcocweb.org. So taking all of this into account and understanding that there are so many other factors that come into road safety other than just the condition of the roads and the rate of accidents in our community, what else really has a major impact on the overall safety of our roadways, and how can the community play a role in reducing those risk factors?
Great question. So there's a number of things we can do. We're always looking at traffic patterns. Where are the left turns? What can we do to make those left turns safer? But we're also always working with the public to educate them on how to drive more safely, not being distracted, not looking at your phone while you're driving, focusing on what you're doing, driving the speed limit, slowing down in construction zones. Pedestrian safety, bicyclist safety is huge. We're trying to do everything we can to both make those areas safer and notify the motoring public to be aware of those road users as well. Those are legitimate, legal road users. We encourage people to be out walking, biking, that type of thing, and we want to make sure they're safe as well. So we're constantly studying new ways of raising awareness about their safety as well.
So what is the long-term vision of this program? What ultimately will make the SS4A program down the line be considered successful?
Well, ultimately, the ultimate long-term goal for us, for the state of Michigan, for the federal government, is zero fatalities on the roads. In the short term, we want to reduce the fatalities and reduce serious injuries, but reduce pedestrian injuries, fatalities, reduce bicyclist fatalities and injuries. So, the short-term goal is bring down those numbers as much more as possible. We already have among the lowest numbers in the state and the country, but one fatality, one crash is too many. So we want to continue to bring those numbers down. Everything we can do to lower those numbers is critical, and we want to do it.
Craig Bryson is with us, the Senior Communications Manager with the Road Commission for Oakland County. You can learn more about all of our local roads and get the latest updates on rcocweb.org. And Craig, before we let you go, given some of the big projects we've had in our local area of late, a full shutdown of Commerce Road in our area certainly affected some roadways. Of course, over the past couple of years, we've had the reconstruction of Orchard Lake Road through the Tri-Cities in West Bloomfield, and now close to home, right next door to us in Farmington Hills, an MDOT project shutting down the on-ramps onto I-696. All of this being considered, all these different detours that come into play, what action can be taken right now by drivers out on the road, listening to us on Lakes FM, watching us at home, going about the community today to make safe streets and roads for all something that happens right here, right now?
Well, one of the first things you can do is, visit our website regularly and find out what projects are happening or planned on your driving route. And if there are detours, find out what those detours are. Secondly, when you are encountering road construction, please slow down, be aware, be mindful of the speed limits within the construction zones. Be mindful of the people working in those zones. One of our top goals as well is to make sure that everybody who is working to improve the roads goes home to their families safely every night. So please slow down. Don't be distracted, especially in construction zones. Remember, all this stuff is inconvenient, but this is what it takes to improve and maintain the roads. Roads require constant maintenance, just like a home or anything else. And all this work is necessary to maintain and improve the roads so we all can continue to use them.
The Road Commission for Oakland County will be holding their Safety Action Plan meeting, getting feedback from the public on Monday, July 29th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Oakland County Executive Office Building on Pontiac Road in Waterford, Michigan. Craig, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
More information available on rcocweb.org, including you can take action today, what detours you need to know about, projects that are ongoing or may pop up in the coming weeks. All of those updates are always available on rcocweb.org. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. As you kick off your busy work week, we kick off a busy week of keeping you updated on the latest across the greater West Bloomfield area. We will keep you prepared for that. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in our community, some fun activities, some information you need to know, and so much more after this short break. Stay with us. It's The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
We've got news. Civic Center TV just reached 1 million views on YouTube. Over the years, we've filed over 10,000 stories. We've covered local parades and events, life-saving efforts by first responders, remarkable accomplishments of local individuals, state championship athletic teams, and our area's history, government, and the people who volunteer to make our community better. Civic Center TV on cable, online, and on social media, now with over 1 million views on YouTube. Civic Center TV, thanks for watching. You're 1 in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe. Thanks for tuning in and, of course, keeping up to date with us on civiccentertv.com and across our social media, including on YouTube, where we just recently surpassed 1 million views. And thank you for being 1 in a million with us each and every day across our 4 communities and beyond. Some changes are ongoing across our 4 communities, including one of our many school districts, the Bloomfield Hills School District, recently introducing its newest superintendent. Rick West just began earlier on in July at the helm of Bloomfield Hills Schools, taking over as superintendent, and joins us now on The Splash Live. Superintendent West, welcome to the local area. Welcome to the Bloomfield Hills School District. and we thank you for being with us. Just tell us a little bit about your getting into this job and what brought you to Bloomfield Hills.
I think it goes without saying. First, again, thanks for having me on. I think it goes without saying, Bloomfield Hills is recognized as one of the best public education institutions in the state of Michigan. So sitting in my seat as a deputy superintendent in another local district, it was pretty easy to make that connection that this was the premier job, as I mentioned to the board through the interview process, the premier job in the state. And, being in proximity and having the experiences I had, it was a pretty easy connection to say, this is the time and it's here and now that I seek to be the leader of what I believe is one of the best school districts in the state. So that's really where it came from. The search firm certainly reached out and through conversations with my family and my mentor and my wife, it was a very easy connection to pursue the opportunity.
And you mentioned that your experience immediately before taking this job was as a deputy superintendent in another school district right here in Oakland County. So how did that experience as someone in the high administration of a large school district in one of our neighboring communities help to prepare you to take over this particular school district?
Yeah, I think, being in the Troy School District is where I was for the last 10 years. And over the course of my career, my direct responsibilities have been assisting superintendents in the day-to-day operations of school districts. So I think throughout my career, I've been prepared for this opportunity. And certainly the opportunities that were afforded to me in Troy have prepared me well through the community engagement pieces, through being in the last year or so responsible for the day-to-day operations of the school district, through being on two strategic planning teams. And through leading the bond work that was passed over there, which was the second largest bond in the state. So I think, looking at the myriad of responsibilities I had and the opportunities that's been afforded to me throughout my career, it was a logical next step to come over here.
And you mentioned working on some of the bond issues in the Troy School District over that portion of your career. Now you're in the Bloomfield Hills School District as their superintendent, and they've undergone a lot of changes in recent years too, particularly because of the 2020 bond passure, which helped them convert back to a K through 5, 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12 format across all these schools. And so coming in at this time with that experience, how does that help you to then help the teachers, the administrators, and especially the students and families continue to smooth that transition into this new era in Bloomfield Hills schools?
Well, one of the things that I've learned through the transition process is what they're seeking, and what the Board of Education, and as I've had an opportunity to meet with many people, they're looking for stability. And I think I can provide that as a leader. The other one is a strategic plan. How do we take what we've done or what we have, what's been given to us through the 2020 bond and the resources that we have available to us, and how do we leverage that and make things even better? So I think through my leadership, what people can expect is to bring people together, to collaborate, to listen intently, to seek to understand, and then to develop plans and strategic initiatives around what we've learned and what we've collaborated around together. And I think, education institutions are very robust. There's great variability in our day-to-day work. And so I think what we need to focus on is how do we come together in authentic ways, understanding divergent thought is needed and required, and we develop a strategic plan moving forward. And that's one thing that I was very focused on throughout the interview process. And what I picked up on is that we have great things going on. How do we pick that up from there and develop a strategic plan moving forward? And I think that's the exciting work that awaits us. And bringing people together to do that work is going to be my primary focus over the next 12 months.
And that, a lot of that goes back to policy changes, and that all often comes along with an administrative change, especially at a higher level, and that ultimately trickles down to affect every area of education in the school district. So what are some of those policy changes that maybe you would be considering pursuing to continue to further increase the educational balance across the community and improve outcomes for students and for everyone involved along the line?
Yeah, well, I'll stop short of giving any robust policy changes or changes I want to make. I'm still I'm on day 4. So I want to make sure that I understand what's going on a little bit better. But I can tell you the primary focus is going to be how our kids and how are our students connecting throughout their experience, and how is every student feeling a sense of belonging. And what does that mean? How do we define that? How do we define connections? How do we afford those opportunities for all to connect in a meaningful way? So, from a governance level, our Board of Education and myself and our administrative team will be focused on what policies may need to change, what things might need to be viewed and looked at a little bit deeper. But that will all come through relationship building. In my 90-day plan, I laid out my focus areas will be on students, relationships, outcomes, and leadership. And those all need to be flushed out and defined a little bit more. But, we remain focused through these 90 days and beyond to establish a collaboration, authentic collaboration through all stakeholders, as many stakeholders as want to be involved. And making sure that we have those focuses and those lenses in which we do our work.
And as you mentioned, you're very early on in your tenure, you're just getting started, and that interaction with the students and that interaction with the educators, getting to know the school district that you're now leading is really important. So in these opening days and in these opening weeks, how are you pursuing building those relationships?
So I've had a number of meetings. I got started right after the appointment in May. I met with all of our board members individually. I've met with our entire cabinet team. I have meetings with district administration. I have a couple community events that are scheduled in August, and I recommend viewers look for those opportunities on our website. And then when school gets started, I'm going to be visible. I'm going to be accessible. I'm going to be responsive to the community. I want to meet people. I want to understand their perspectives. I want to understand their views as we continue to work toward a vision for our future. And so I will be out there. I'll be accessible, and you'll be able to talk to me. I'll be at events. My team is working on my calendar and making sure that I seize the opportunities to be in places where the Bloomfield Hills community are. So I look forward to that. That's part of the exciting work, is getting to meet the people, getting to understand their perspectives and where we are as a district and through their lens, and how that's going to inform the vision.
Superintendent Rick West is with us, the newly entered superintendent of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Rick, before we let you go, let's take a journey forward, a year or two or several down the line. And ultimately, when you get to that point and you've had some years under your belt, you've been able to implement some of these plans, what do you hope is the outcome, or is the impact, better yet, of your leadership in this district?
I mentioned in the interview process, I'm looking to make generational impact. So one, I want to be here for a while. If I look back a year from now or 2 years from now and define success, it will be our kids have meaningful experiences where they're connected and they feel belonging, and that we're able to get that data through a myriad of ways, through one, observations, two, survey results, things like that. So it's going to be a student-centered focus where we're really evaluating how our kids are feeling, how they're creating a sense of belonging, and the opportunities that we're providing them. So I think that's what will define success. If our students and our staff and all stakeholders feel a sense of belonging, and where Bloomfield Hills Schools is hopefully growing in enrollment, where it's a destination district, which it already is, where people are seeking to seeking to move here for the experience of their public education, and that we're providing that experience, and that we're really focused on student experience.
Well, Rick, as you make your opening interactions and you're taking your tours of the school district, one of the first places I suggest you head over to, the Pete Bowers studio over at Bloomfield Hills High School, and visit Ron Whittables and the team over at the BIF. A great program they have over there. Thank you so much for your time.
Great, I appreciate it. Tyler, if I could, real quick, sure. I'd be remiss. We have an operating millage on the ballot for August 6th. I encourage the community and the viewers to check out our website for the factual information, and consider voting on August 6th.
All that information and more that you need to know about the Bloomfield Hills School District on bloomfield.org. Rick, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tyler.
Always glad to hear from our local school districts. And you may be wondering, look, it's a Greater West Bloomfield show. Why is the Bloomfield Hills School District on the program? We have several different school districts that cover our 4 communities, whether it's West Bloomfield and it's Pontiac and it's Bloomfield Hills, Walled Lake, and so many others, not even including the private and parochial schools that are in our area. So always good to hear from new leadership coming in across our 4 communities. I grew up in West Bloomfield. I was a student in the Bloomfield Hills School District. I know that these local school districts impact our communities in all different corners every single day, and hopefully a lasting impact from Rick West. And good luck to him as he begins as a new superintendent in the Bloomfield Hills School District. Close to home, just up the street, actually on the street in a couple of weeks, artists from around the world will gather in Greater West Bloomfield for one of our favorite local traditions, the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, coming back on Saturday, July 27th, and Sunday, July 28th. Saturday, the show is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, the 29th, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Powers and Daily Roads, up by the post office, the old Orchard Fitness location on the boulevard, just off the boulevard on Orchard Lake Road. Free parking will be available in the back half of the parking lot behind the West Bloomfield Medical Center. That's the old Beaumont Medical Center building, now called the West Bloomfield Medical Center, with artists from all different disciplines, art that you can purchase, you can observe, you can learn more. And it is a fantastic tradition here in Greater West Bloomfield. Brings so many people out. We hope to see you there. We hope to see a lot of smiling faces and sunshine for this year's event as well. In the meantime, you can learn more about the show, get yourself ready, mark your calendars, and get to know some of the artists on Facebook at Hotworks Art Shows. In the meantime, and of course, stay tuned right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM for plenty more coverage. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Just like that, we're out of time. I want to give a big thank you to everyone that joined us on the program, and of course to our crew, Jake Schaff and Calvin Brown out of Master Control, alongside Peyton Skyver, our producer Kevin McIntosh, and the entire team at our entire network. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you for tuning in to the Splash Live.